like, what are you doing? You've done nothing. All you've done is spend every waking moment just shitting on pro-Palestinian voices. Like, that's your advocacy. That's where your advocacy ends, and that's where your advocacy begins. Brief note on this also. Motaz spoke out about this too. I didn't even realize, like, I feel kind of bad that he like saw this, but I guess he sees a lot of stuff online nowadays. But initially, Ethan and Hila apparently have been talking about like sending me to Gaza, and like they've made a joke about it, because like I've talked to Palestinian journalists, and they've like wanted me to come out, and I can't get any security assurances against Israel, obviously, and that's like the major reason why it is incredibly dangerous. It's not because of like Hamas or anything. And these guys still like make a joke about it, and I think that joke plays a very nefarious purpose of making it seem as though I think in their minds they're just basically saying like, oh, you're too much of a pussy or whatever. But the underlying hidden premise there is that like Gaza actually is totally safe from Israeli bombings, and I don't like that. I don't like that because it's like basically a thinly veiled threat almost, where it comes across like a pager joke. You know what I mean? It's not a war zone, it's a genocide. It's very different. Okay? You can go to a war zone. It's like almost like an individually crafted, like, I hope your pager goes off type joke. They know what they're doing. It's also funny when they dick ride Israel so hard, but they're also like, go ahead, Hasan, see what happens. Yeah, that's what Israel, yeah, exactly. So they had posted this.
People want to stand by their principles. They want to be these heroic advocates, but they don't want to risk anything.
That's such a funny thing to say, by the way, in terms of like, they don't want to risk anything is such a funny thing to say about pro-Palestinian advocates in general. Not for me in particular. Also, you know, any material financial loss, deplatforming, threats from the federal government is nothing in comparison to like the existence of the average Palestinian in Gaza. So all of that stuff doesn't really matter, but it's a weird thing to say when you're a content creator personally, and all you do is yell at other content creators for at least demonstrating a little bit, like a fraction of the moral courage necessary to speak out against Israel at a time when people like Ethan and many others are actively trying to not only deplatform every pro-Palestinian voice, but also specifically get them, like get the Trump administration to pack them up, right? So yeah, like, what are you doing? You've done nothing. All you've done is spend every waking moment just shitting on pro-Palestinian voices. Like, that's your advocacy. That's where your advocacy ends, and that's where your advocacy begins. But it's crazy that he just like that part aside. It's just genuinely crazy that he's just like, why doesn't he just go to Gaza? Oh, it's because he's afraid of Hamas. Like, no, dude, I'm afraid of the apartheid regime that you're defending that has literally killed like 70 plus journalists in 2024 alone. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And then they'll turn around and be like, well, other people have gone to Israel. It's like, yeah, exactly. I know. Patrick Beverly talked about how he was going to the beaches in Tel Aviv as Israel was pummeling Gaza. That's what happens when you're an apartheid state that is doing settler colonialism, that's engaging in a genocide. The in-group doesn't get harmed. Yeah, no shit. Like, Sex Pestany going to Israel is not the same. He went with Eilon Levy, the Israeli spokesperson, the former Israeli spokesperson. You think the conditions are the same? Anyway, yeah, zone of interest.
Should go to Gaza. And if he doesn't, he should be severely judged by his audience for being a total fucking coward.
I mean, it's part of why I judge him. He doesn't know shit about that conflict. He's never been to Gaza, never been to Israel. He doesn't know shit about it.
No, he doesn't.
He does not.
Yeah. These people said Yoav Gallant was a good guy, by the way, like a couple months ago, and then had to apologize in deep shame because everybody was like, what the f- do you mean? He's literally a war criminal. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, who famously said all of the Palestinians, like, we're shutting off their food, their electricity, and their water because we're fighting beasts. That was a week into the Israeli genocide.
Not. But he talks like with such authority. Oh my God. You would think.
Yeah. I mean, this is also this is also a ridiculous assessment to make, because not only is it an ongoing issue, not only is it an ongoing conflict, but I have had people who have survived it. I have genocide survivors on this stream. And I also talk to journalists who are literally directly in the crosshairs on a daily basis that inform my perspective. So not only is it wrong on that front, it's also entirely stupid as an argument to make. It's like, okay, I know about the Holocaust. I didn't visit. I didn't see it with my own two eyes, but I learned about it. I read about it. You know what I mean? Like, what a ridiculous statement. I know about the apartheid in South Africa. I wasn't alive when it was happening. Same with World War II, but it doesn't matter, you know? You can inform your perspective by reading and learning. And especially as it pertains to like ongoing genocide, ongoing conflicts in general, yeah, you can still get a pretty solid assessment on the situation, on the morality of it, on the ongoing conflict in general by, you know, talking to people that are there, journalists that are there, relying on NGOs that are constantly documenting these atrocities.
I think he's been there like 5 times since October 7th.
You sound like someone that needs to talk to Sam Cedar.
Yeah, Sam Cedar, another one I'm ready to burn.
They got smoke for Sam too? God damn. Anyway, I hadn't even seen that last part of this video. I said, God damn, these people are unbearable. It's so strange that this audience thinks of a meme to go to Gaza. Are they not remotely curious as to why Western reporters can't get in? Are they aware of how many journalists Israel has killed? Is this all they do now? Is what I said. And I posted the Reporters Without Borders document on it. Journalists targeted, killed, newsrooms destroyed, internet and electricity cut off. 1 year in Gaza, how Israel orchestrated a media blackout on a region at war. And I also posted my interview with Motaz Azaiza, who is a genocide survivor. Like, this is a man who was a photojournalist from Gaza who escaped Gaza. So I have talked to people that inform my perspective directly. Like, I've hosted them. I've talked to them. I don't know why. Like, what have these people done? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And Motaz saw it and he quote tweeted it. He said, I remember my conversation with Hasan the Hun when he hosted me in his house for an interview. I saw how much he was moved and wanted to learn more from the people who've lived the genocide in Gaza. It's of course impossible for Hasan and others to enter Gaza because of restrictions from the Israeli occupation. The only way for the world to see and hear the truth is through the eyes of the Palestinians who document the constant Israeli crimes or lived under the occupation. We're all being censored or deplatformed some way. Thank you, Hasan, for refusing to be silenced by ignorant people. I hope one day we can welcome you in Gaza and in a free Palestine. Doubt that this will be mentioned on the H Ratio podcast in any capacity, of course. I'm sure that this was not mentioned in their subreddit because that would go against their we're pro-Palestine, but we hate everyone who's pro-Palestine position, you know? It's so gross. It's so gross that this community still acts like they're pro-Palestinian and pro-Palestine, and they just like do this. This is all they do. Their entire commentary around this thing, around this ongoing genocide is just like talking shit about people who have something to say. Anything that breaks away from this like carefully constructed narrative, this hug box that they've cultivated, is considered unacceptable. Like, let's not pay attention to it. Yeah, that was a brief note I wanted to talk about here.